Hey Rosebuds, welcome to the Rose Garden. I'm your host, Nyeri Rose. Hey Rosebuds, how's it going? We are back with another episode, and today is very special because I have a special guest. All right, none other than Derek, aka D Diamonds, is in the building, and today's conversation is conversation about music. Now, of course, you know why we're talking about music. How would you define yourself?
I define myself probably as hardworking. Like if you want to put it in one word, hardworking. I'm always trying to do what's next. Even when something's planned, I'm trying to get my hands in what's next, just to build the bigger picture. Because there's always something else to do. There's always going to be another date, and you always miss some, but you try to make as many as you can. So.
From when I last seen you, it seemed like you don't necessarily like to categorize yourself because you have like rapper and then all the things that fall under that. Yeah. But really, do you consider music to be an artistry? Like you're an artist at heart?
Yeah, of course. My passion is making music. I love making music, and there's just too many ways to get seen, nowadays, and you have to stand out. So of course you have to do different things. So, but as far as the music, that's where my heart lies. I enjoy making it. It's great.
Okay, let's go back before we get into like the new music and the projects that you've been working on, because you do have good taste in music, and I do like your artistry. How did music find you, or how did you find music? Like, take us all the way back. When did you know like you had a skill for this?
Man, with my boy who's here with me, Nyeri Rose. Back in high school, I was moving around a lot at the beginning. Freshman year, I went to 2 different schools, and then sophomore year I went to another school where I graduated from at Vista. Nyeri Rose was the first person I met, and he was already heavily, into music, doing this thing, DJing, so we, linked up. He started throwing on beats, whatever. We just would play around rapping, and then ended up taking it serious. Towards fast forward a little bit, senior year. We started making music and started like actually recording it or whatever. Still, by ourselves and whatnot. And then we ran into somebody, started recording at their studio. And then, so on and so forth.
Was there like a point where do you write, or you just freestyling and you're like, wait a minute, I'm good at this?
It switched up because I used to freestyle a lot, and I preferred my freestyles over writing. And then I ended up going to jail on some, fluke or whatever. But nonetheless, so I had to stop smoking, and then so I really started writing more, and then I got used to writing, and then I really couldn't even, freestyle no more. So the leverage really more so was on the writing side, and I feel like it takes a little bit more time, but when you perfect it, you could knock verses out in like 15 minutes, and that's where I'm at now. I'm just knocking verses out, 15 minutes, whatever, get in, record the song, and it's done. So I work a little bit faster than some artists, but it took a lot of time, because where we at 15 years, So
it sounds like the universe made you sit down.
Yeah.
It made you sit down, and that's where you really were able to perfect your crafts and see like the talent within. Now, in navigating those spaces, when you're working with other people, how is it for you in the studio? What's your vibe when you are at the studio and you're like ready to work? What's the ideal situation?
Just throw on a beat, or my boy Jay on the beat. We just
shout out Jay on the beat.
Yeah, of course. I always shout out my dog. He just puts sounds on, and then certain things click sometimes, and sometimes it don't. I'm not gonna make it seem like every beat we put together is perfect, but we just sit down, sounds start coming on, and then I get a hook like that, most of the time, especially if it's like a sound that I didn't even know I liked, So yeah, we just go at it like that, and that's how we create music now versus before. I would, you know, just YouTube beats like anybody else, and then I had a producer reach out to me, and then he started sending me beats for a couple years, and then I was working with him. Zasper, shout out to my dog, man. He held me down for, you know, a long time. You know, I was down and out, but he kept on sending beats, man. He still sends beats to this day. So yeah, shout out to him for holding me down. But yeah, the studio is it's a good place for it. It's a good place for it.
It's your zone.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure good people are in that space.
Oh yeah, always.
Now, when it comes to performing, would you say you're a well-seasoned performer?
Yeah, man. I done shows. You know, at one point it was 3-4 a week. You know, so I was doing a lot of shows back. You know, early 20s and stuff like that. So you know. Going over the gap now to 30, you know, I took a step back really on performing so much, and more so building and perfecting the craft, and you know, just trying to figure out how I want to perform. You know, like I've done it so much, I've, you know, never really had like a set way of doing it though, if that makes sense. You know, you gotta sit back and reevaluate yourself sometimes, you know, and that's where I'm at right now performing. But you know, I'm always ready to go. Always ready to go. Yeah, always ready to go. But you know, for myself, if I'm building a show around me, or if I'm, you know, more so opening for an artist or something like that, I want it to be you know, perfect in a sense. You know, nothing is ever perfect, but as well as I can make it. You know, like with dancers, stuff like that. You know, as far as performing.
I mean, give yourself some credit. You open for some living legends.
Oh yeah.
You've done a lot of good things. I've been able to kind of like see, you know, through at least my husband's lens, the work ethic and the art craft. And sometimes for me, like it gets a little scary. It seems hectic, like that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you're still able to find your balance in that space. I remember I just seen you, and I want to say thank you, because as an artist, at least for me, like in high school, I like to write. I love poetry, and I'm an English teacher. And so I have a lot of like young minds that are around me, and these kids are next level. Like they know how to produce beats. They know how to work, I don't know, Pro Tools, GarageBand. Band Lab is a new one that I'm finding out about.
Right on the phone.
Right on the phone. And so with that, with these creative minds and these artists, sometimes the kids, at least, they think that, you know, you could just say a couple of words and now you're a rapper. But it seems like rap is like, it's much deeper than that, at least for you.
Yeah, of course. You know, it seems saturated now, I would say, because of the accessibility to it. You know, like we growing up, you know, being that the last of the 90s, you know, we didn't have Pro Tools and, you know, all these programs and stuff at our at our disposal. So that's the difference now. And you know, we have you know, our kids who are, or you know, like people who had kids before, like slightly before us, so they're like teenagers now. So they have, you know, the cool parents, or you know, like, oh, I wanted to get this anyway, so you know, so now they have the access to it, and it makes it, you know, kind of easier for them, especially with technology and Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. So they see it and mimic it, and you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it all comes down to marketing. You know, marketing is really heavy, and it's something that I wish I knew, you know, younger, because I would have focused more towards it, you know, being as hardworking as I am.
Like branding yourself?
Yeah. Okay. You know, like I had a couple different personas, and you know, like that's really, you know, where it kind of messed up. But at the same time, if you know me, you know me, and that's just how it'll always be. You've seen what I've done, you know, you've seen my face regardless of what the name might have been. But now we're just buckling down. We figured it out, you know. And there's just more to come. It's
more to come. Now, I know that when I asked you, I said, you know, who do you listen to? And you were like, I listen to me. I was like, respect to you listening to your own sound, your own voice, because that's how you grow.
Yeah.
Is there any artists, you know, that have inspired you?
Of course, everybody know Lil Wayne, man. Lil Wayne has been the biggest influence in my life as far as musically, you know, someone who just goes and does it, you know, he just gets in there, gets in his mode, does what he needs to do and get out, you know, and then now you got everybody calling you because you're hot. And, you know, I was at that point, you know, of course, you know, you've seen Open Up.
I was about to say, I was watching some music videos. I was like, this one, he have like 32,000 views on this one. You had somebody waving the American flag.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's tight.
So, yeah, we've been there, you know, we've seen it, and now it's just more so maintaining, you know. And like I said, it all came with marketing. It just was, I was working with people who were, you know, better marketers or older than I was, and, you know, had figured it out around the age, you know, or relatively younger, or however they figured it out. But yeah, it's there's a lot that comes with it for sure. Being an artist, you want to always go back and reevaluate yourself, because you always see somebody else doing something and you feel like you should have been that person, or you know, and stuff like that. And there's a lot of envy in rap,
That's
specifically,
true.
I should say, and rap specifically. You know, other genres don't really. I mean, you know, they have their beef. Everybody has their beef,
right?
of
But
course,
painters ain't meeting up and squaring up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, rap makes it a thing to where violence is okay in a sense, but in all reality, of course, those artists don't really mean that, like, oh, violence is okay. Some of them are talking about what they've been through. Some are just talking about nothing. You know what I mean? Which is where, you know, kids, like you said earlier, kids come in, they just think they could just put whatever together, and then you know, I'm a rapper now, which is, in a sense, like I said, is true, but you know, it just depends on the persona you're trying to take. Are you trying to take on a killer? Are you trying to take on a peacemaker? Or are you, like, what are you trying to do? And is that you? You know, so like you said, it does go deeper than just, you know, making music.
Did you explore those sounds like when you were first starting out? Because like you said, artists do take on personas. So like when you started, or has your sound been consistent and you just evolved?
I would say
you have feel good music.
Yeah, I'd say that's always been my route more so. I've dipped into a couple of other things, you know, because everybody has their experiences and whatnot. So, but those aren't really the vibes I really push, you know what I mean? I'm more so feel good music. I want you to be like, you know, just vibe and chilling, whatever it is that you're doing. That's the type of music that I like to make, you know, something that everybody can relate to, or, you know, something I feel like is common that everybody goes through.
So then, what does bad business look like in the music industry? I know you said like there's envy and things like that, but have you ever encountered a situation where you were like, I am not equipped for this?
Yeah, you know, it happened early, of course, because you got to go through these trials and tribulations to learn and, you know, build yourself and your brand. Back when or whatever, I didn't necessarily have the connection to the plug or to the club directly. You know, there was a middleman in between, right? So, you know, they do their thing, I do my thing, which was basically where I'm at now. You know, doing everything minus two things. You know what I mean, or something like that. But they were, you know, taking more so money, or, you know, money got to go to this, or money got to go to that. And, you know, me being young, I'm not really thinking, you know, like it's going.
You just investing in yourself. I'm like, just whatever.
Yeah, so, you know, you know, that's just one incident. You know, there's been others, you know, where you just mess with the wrong promoters and stuff like that. There's a lot of people who more so think about their pockets. You know, they're like, you know, I need to make as much money, and as you know, off of one event, versus, you know, maybe if I, you know, extend the hand out, and, you know, maybe if this person's making money too, they'll be more invested into it. You know, you got to extend that arm out sometime and have somebody play another role for you, and then that way, they, you know, in a sense, it's a job. You know what I mean? Because either way it goes, you're going to work one way or another. You're either going to work for the man, you're going to work for yourself, however you want to do it. But you know, you have to know that this is a job. You know, making music is a job. You know, you have to pay for studio time. You got to pay for videos. You got to, sometimes you pay to play. You know what I mean? Pay to perform, which is something that I try to stay away from. You know, I don't want to charge an artist to showcase their talent or nothing like that. I'm more so of how much can you pull? What really can you pull? Because that'll show you where you stand as an artist, and you know if you're ready for performances, or do you need to keep making music and building the fan base and continue marketing. You know, so that's really what Vegas Unplugged is. It's more of a platform for, any type of artist, no matter what skill level you're at, beginning, intermediate, advanced, whatever you are, or what you feel you are, you know, we try to be that middleman in between to help you get this content that you need or the information that you need to be more successful in what you're doing.
I like that you plugged yourself. Come on now, Vegas Unplugged. If you don't know about it, you need to know about it, because you have been getting together the hottest artists, like underground, and some popping and have a name, you know, for themselves. But I literally was watching like the platform take off on its own. And Vegas, at least here, we need that. I don't know about any other space, but seeing you do that and seeing you get these artists, you know, to really put themselves out there, because you know sometimes people just need that extra push. I know for myself, it's like, okay, I have all these, you know, songs in my head, and I have all this, you know, these things that I want to say, but I'm gonna be honest, being a SoundCloud rapper, according to my students, is not where it's at if you're not already acclimated.
Yeah, so
I don't know how you feel about that, the SoundCloud artists.
All right, so the way I see it is there are SoundCloud artists, and then there's people who are trying to take their craft a little bit more serious and, like, you know, extend and do those shows and stuff like that. But it even goes further than that, because like you could get paid so much more, even with like from not just the show you could get paid, but you could get paid from, you know, BMI, ASCAP and stuff like that when you register your music, just because it's getting played, you know, all over the world or whatever. When you plug it into, you know, Apple Music and stuff like that, all that is more accessible. Like I said, all those
are dropping gems.
Yeah, you know, you got to sometimes, because it's out there. It's a really free game, but it's just for you to do, you know, the study.
People charge for the free game though.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you got to do what you have to do, but really and truly, it's not that difficult to put your brand and your name out there if you want to be an artist.
Yeah, if you want to do something, you can go do it. You know, you hear it all day, all over the internet, everywhere you go, friends, family. You know, if you want to do something and you feel really passionate about it, you should go do it and really scratch out the noise. You know, because there's always going to be somebody who says it's not going to work. There's always that person, because they don't see your vision on how you could do it, you know, because they know you, or they think they know you, and you know, they don't know your capabilities or how far you actually can go, you know, and you don't know how far you actually can go until you start doing something, you know. So when you put your right foot forward and like really put your foot on the gas, like the, you know, world
the sky's the limit.
Yeah, the sky's the limit.
I mean,
world's endless.
I don't know. We've seen, at least Instagram came out when I was in high school, and now we see where Instagram is at today.
Yeah.
Do you think social media has helped your business or your brand grow? Like, has it helped you evolve as an artist?
Yeah, it helped. I feel like it can help anybody in any lane that you're doing, not even just music. You know, like you could start a pet business, anything that you want to on Instagram, because of, like I said, the accessibility of all these things. It's just you as a person have to do the research, and you know, nobody is ever going to just be like, here, you know, here's $100,000. Nobody will ever do that unless they fall into it themselves, and all that money is going to go to waste anyway, because you don't know what to do with it when you get a lump sum like that. So you have to sit back, you know, learn game, and see how rich people actually move, you know. Like, rich people write off a lot of things, you know.
Yes, they do.
I'm not gonna
everything. Yes, they do.
They write off a lot of things, and
we
a lot of
going to
things.
dinner, we writing it off.
And it's way easier to start a business now, you know. So there's that, and I'm not gonna go into that because that's a whole nother lane.
A whole nother lane.
Yeah, like I said, just do your research, and you could get funding for yourself if you have the right plan in action. You have to really write it down, you know, take the time, write it down, because you have to present these things, you know, to the right people. So just continue working. And
I seen something on Instagram, and it said two things. Well, one is like, we live in a begging culture, and people have their hand out and they expect for you to just kind of help them or get them to the next level. But on the contrary, you do need support, not necessarily from begging, but I would say, do you have a team? Like, you have a team of people?
Yeah, I have a team of people, and all of them are all individuals themselves, you know what I mean? And it just takes you coming together sometimes, you know. You don't always have to lean on somebody or feel like you're leaning on somebody, because your dream is your dream, and you know, your friends can only see so much of your dream. You know, you have a passion for something, you're gonna have to go and get it, and you know, once you get it, it gives us the same satisfaction it gives you at the end of the day, you know? You start your business, and now, you know, whatever 3-5 years later, you look back and you're just like, I did it, you know? Like, I'm here now, I got the business, got the storefront, what else can you do? And that's for you to decide at that point, you know? Do you want to continue running the business? Is that really your passion? Was it just something you wanted to do? So there's a lot of lanes that you could take it.
And then part 2 to that is you could be talented as ever, right?
Oh yeah.
But a lot of talented people fall into being lazy. Now, you talked about working hard and having that work ethic and consistency. So let's get into all about the dividends, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's some new music, a new project. When did you start crafting your newest, would you call it album?
Yeah.
Yes, an album. That's crazy.
So,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's my second album. My first album I dropped 4 years ago, 19. It had 19 songs on it.
Wow.
I dropped it on my birthday, February 19th, you know. But as far as all about the dividends, it was in the works for, I want to say, 10-11 months, you know.
Wow.
It was just a lot of me going to the studio, and I didn't even know it was going to be an album until, you know, everything was put together. You know, I had a whole bunch of songs just recorded. I hadn't dropped anything since the 19 album, so I was just figuring out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. So I just put the, you know, vibes together, and I was like, you know, maybe it's, you know, time, you know, 2 whatever years later, I was like, I think it's time for me to drop another album. So I put it together, and then more so crafted a team along the way, you know, just bringing friends together and, you know, seeing where everybody was at. And everybody kind of at the same breaking point, you know, we're like right there, but we need something else, you know. And then when we get something, we need something to get to the next level. So, you know, we sat down, and then, you know, after everything was done, I had a plan once again to drop it on my birthday on the 19th, you know, because because I feel like that's always been my golden date. You know, I always drop something on my birthday. If you could look forward to new music at any point of the year, you know, around my birthday, that'll be the time. And you know, and sure enough, you know, I dropped the album, shot a video on my birthday, and then after that, you know, everybody started to get together a little more, you know, and then that's how Vegas Unplugged really became, you know, more so a thing. And like I said, I like to extend the arm out more so, you know, and like I like to build communities. You know, I feel like if you have a community behind you, a lot more is possible. You know, because there's a lot of people who want to see you lose, like the envy, and then you have a lot of people who want to see you win just because. And what's crazy is it's strangers, people who don't know you. So it's really the image that you put out, and you know, like I said, if I'm always extending an arm out, then, you know, people are going to be, well, he's always extending an arm out, you know, you got to be solid, you know, and people like you know me, you know, I'm a solid individual, you know, that's just how I've always been, you know.
Since day one.
Yeah, just always trying to help somebody, you know, because there's help when you're in a better position. I might not be where I want to be in life, but there's people who, you know, aren't at all and never got a chance to, you know, like
then
people
they look back and they're like, dang, I wish I would have did the thing. Like, I wish I would have made the song, or whatever the case.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, you know, the people look back, and some people come from, you know, bad homes in general. So, or people come from not knowing their parents at all. So, like, it creates that character, you know, they don't have somebody, you know, teaching them these things or something like that. So that's why a lot of the stuff I kick be free game, because it's like, you know, only people who are really interested in what I'm doing will, you know, pay attention. So other than that, you know, it is what it is. But like you said, the sky's the limit. You know, you could always break another barrier, and right now we're on the verge of breaking another barrier.
Breaking, and you worked so hard to get to this point. So again, congratulations on everything. Do artists have favorite songs? Well, do you have a favorite song from the album? What do you like? Do you listen to yourself over and over, or do you just say, I'm done with the project?
I mean, there's not really a favorite song, because there's different vibes on it, you know. So it really just depends on the mood that I'm in. But I feel like One Call Away, That's a good song for any
That's
mood.
my favorite.
See,
I'm not even gonna count. What Call Away Go Crazy?
Yeah, I feel like that's just you know, anybody can vibe to it. It doesn't matter what's going on. You know, you could be chilling, and if you're mad, you just, you know, relax a little bit, and it take you down the level. Or, you know, if you want to turn up, yeah, it has that vibe behind it, because, you know, shout out to Zaz once again. He did his thing on you know, a couple of those beats. I had majority of, like I said, his beats have been the past, what, 5-6 years. I've been using just Zaz beats. So, you know, once he started sending me beats, I was like, YouTube is really pointless if I have somebody sending me some beats, you know. So
I see what you mean.
yeah, it's just he was flooding me, you know, with tons of beats for days. Beats.
Was Players another one? Another Zaz beat?
Yeah.
With Mari? Yeah, that was a good one. I really enjoyed that one. And honorable mention to Tap Dance.
Oh yeah,
No, for real.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
So you've been working hard.
And like I said, those are you see how you mentioned 3 songs. Those are 3 different vibes throughout the you know, throughout the whole album. If you listen, the whole vibe changes throughout. You know, so those are 3 total different vibes, and it really is just depends on what I'm in the mood for. You know, stuff like that, but.
What's your take on like female collabs? Have you collaborated with any female rappers?
Yeah, I have a couple of female artists that I collabed with. Nothing crazy, you know. Like there's a couple that are still making music. Hope Spin, she's still doing music. You know, she's doing her thing. You know, getting her Grammys, doing whatever it is. Yeah, she doing her little thing or whatever. So yeah, there's a couple of them, not too many. It's just I haven't really collaborated with anybody recently over the, you know, I would say 7 to 8 years. You know, I haven't really did too many songs with too many people outside of, like, you know, my immediate people that I grew up, you know, making music with.
Are you familiar with Don Toliver, the artist? I was just recently watching an interview that he did, and he said nowadays it's like hard to collaborate with others because he's really trying to catch a vibe in the studio, but he's like, everybody sends things electronic. Have you had to do that where it's like you're like, oh, I want you on the track, but I gotta
and it's like you gotta send it, and that's been most of my features, and that's the reason why that's why I strayed away. But it was more so me trying to get the feature, you know what I mean, by any means possible. I knew that I had access to a studio that I could go to at all the time. Shout out Jay on the beat, you know what I'm saying? I always could go over there at any time that I needed to, really, because, you know, I had the time. At the time, I had the time, you know? All the time I could be there, you know, it didn't matter really day, night, you know, as long as he didn't have another session and/or was, you know, doing something else with his family or something like that. Outside of that, I could go and, you know, record the song and send it over, you know, because, you know, once again, Jay on the beat sat there, did his thing, you know, we always mixed it right there, everything was done, really, and it was ready to ship off to the next artist. So I would just go record a whole bunch of open verses, you know, and then I just, you know, send it to people who I felt like would fit it, and then, you know, you'd be waiting around for verses because those people don't have accessibility like, you know, you do, or how I do, or, you know what I mean? And so waiting around for verses, I was just like, that's not really my vibe, and now I'm not really feeling the song no more too much like that.
Right, because your time is everything.
Yeah, so, you know, like if I make a song and then I send it to you and you send me a verse back in 2-3 weeks, it's like a whole nother vibe. You know, I've been making more music, you know. Yeah, so like you said, I'm hard working, so like I'm always making something new. I'm always trying to do something new. So if I send it to you, I kind of need it back in that 24-48 hour time frame so we could plan out what we're gonna do. And that's just, like I said, it came with learning from being an artist. You know, like you can't always get people on the song because it's not always the right time.
If you break through, or when you break through mainstream, do you already know your boundaries?
Yeah.
You already have them set in place, because you know you're gonna get all types of people that's gonna want to, you know. And we talked about how, like, you know, there's like these rap beefs, and you said it like it perpetuates violence and things like that. But do you think like the rap beefs that we see that's happening like right now, are they good for our culture, hip hop culture, and things like that?
It depends on how you see it and how you take it. If you're a person, I would say like me, who, you know, makes music, and you see 2 greats, for example, obviously recent beef, and you see them going at it, you kind of don't want to see that in the hints of, or in the sense of that you want them making music together, not really making music against each other. But I mean, good music does come out of it, obviously, because you have two good artists. So that's for the outside culture, you know what I mean, for what everybody else wants to see, you know what I mean. They want to see some type of drama or something like that, because if there's no drama going on in rap music, you know what I mean, then
what's really happening?
What's really happening?
Right.
The rap that's why they were saying, you know, rap fell off, because you had the Lil Pumps and and stuff like that. You know,
I feel
you had those people like being the more so front runners, or what people are listening to, and you're just like, that's not really what I'm into. So that's why I say I listen to myself, you know, because Lil Wayne wasn't making music around, you know, a couple years ago. He wasn't dropping music as consistently, you know what I mean. He's getting on a little bit more things now, you know, featuring on stuff like that on newer artists. But yeah, so that's why I was listening to myself and just trying to figure out like what it was, and it, like I said, that was all before I figured it. The marketing, you know, it's just
it's a business, it's a transaction.
And that's the reason why a lot of people that you see blowing up, in a sense, is because they spent a lot of money or they had a connection somewhere in the marketing department.
You think industry plants are a thing?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, okay.
Of course, because they could come right now and get us. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. They could go and get anybody that they want, and then offer them, you know, a crazy amount of deal, and then, you know, if that person, it feels like they got it, you know what I mean? They'll do it because they know that they're going to get the marketing behind it. They'll be able to shoot the music videos or whatever, and they're not thinking about the longevity of making that money back. And so that's the reason why you don't want to, you know, necessarily go to a label for a deal. You know, like when you
and those advances and the contracts,
and stuff like that. I mean, if that's what you feel like you need, and you feel like I'm be smart with my money, whatever you feel like you can do, because there's people who know how to do it, who got into a successful label deal. But I mean, it's not really rare now. You know, you see artists trying to get out of their deals. They're like, you know, I done thought I knew what I was doing.
I knew what I was signing.
So I mean, but they try to maintain the label, you know, make the labels happy by dropping the music that they need to, and they probably got something else on the back burner that, like, as soon as they get, you know, that's why you see, you know, when people get off of the labels, they go crazy. They start dropping the craziest visuals, the craziest music.
Like, what happened here? Where are we going with this? I've seen it.
Yeah, so you know, they start going crazy because you know, they got the, you know, not necessarily even have the money, because a lot of people just have the fame. You know, they just have the fame behind it, and now, you know, they don't know what to do because they always had, you know, the label doing all the marketing, all of this. They don't really have necessarily that connection to that person, or they burnt that bridge because they're not with the label no more. So, you know, it's a lot that come into it, and you got, like I said, it's just a lot of research that you got to do yourself as an artist or whatever it is that you're doing. There's a lot of research that goes into it, and the root of everything, for no matter what you're doing, is marketing. You always want to have a good image, you know, and always be doing something new, you know, always have something for people, you know, because people always want to be involved with what you have going. There's always those people who, you know, just want to be a part of it. They don't necessarily have anything to offer for you, but they just want to be there. Well, yeah, they just want to be wearing a hat. You know, they just want to be like, yeah, I got this. This is a 1-of-1, you know, or one of only 100 of these are made, and nobody else has this right now. So, you know, they flaunt it just like if it's their own business. And as a business owner, you want nothing more than for people to, you know, be out there representing your business and being happy that they have your, you know, your stuff on.
No, respect to you and your craft, because the originality is there. I mean, you have your own merch. I've seen it. You have things going for yourself. So you would be considered an independent artist?
Yeah.
Independent all the way.
Yeah, independent artist, entrepreneur, event host,
everything, community builder, activist,
whatever you want to call it, you know. All the way independent, man. You know, I'm no better than the next person, though, man. I work a 9 to 5 just like anybody else does, you know, because you got to do something to fund your businesses, you know. Until you get that big funding, until you figure it out all the way, you need some funding, you know. So for anybody who having a 9 to 5 is corny. Not working is corny.
Not
you know
working,
what I mean?
too.
Yeah.
Pat, we need to put that somewhere. Not working is corny.
Yeah, exactly. Because you even if you got your own business, you're still working.
You're still working.
You're still working. No matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna end up working, and that's just where we are as a human race. You're gonna be doing something. Even those people who do whatever it is they do, 2 hours on the phone, something you got to do something. You got to do something to make your money.
So before we get out of here, just for the people that's watching and who will watch, and they're like, sitting at home and they really do think they have a talent and they make music, but they just don't have the courage or the drive behind putting it out there. Any advice for those young people or maybe older people who are like, I have this, but I'm afraid, like I don't want nobody to hear this for real?
Just do it if you feel. Just do it. Just because the worst case scenario is nobody hears it, and that's where you're at already. So once you drop it, promotion, like I said, marketing, how far do you want to go? Is it something that you really feel passionate about? Take time. It's okay to take time. The right time will never be here. So just know that whenever you do decide to drop, then your right time. Nobody else can stop you but you. So
nobody can stop you but you.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for being on this platform.
Thank you for having
where
me.
can we find the music?
You can find it everywhere. D Diamonds, 2 D's, 2 I's. If you don't know how to spell diamonds, man, I don't know what you doing.
You lack it. No, for real. Thank you, D Diamonds, for being on the Rose Garden. I appreciate the free game because that's what it was. And with that being said, when life gives you thorns, search for roses, y'all.
Hey, you heard her.
Hey, peace out. Thank you.
Yeah.